Hello everyone, my name is Monica Rodriguez and today we're going to talk about methods and approaches that we English teachers tend to use for our lessons. Now the first method is the audiolingual method. In here, reinforcement is a key element for students to learn the language. We will find a lot of repetition, memorization, drills, and the use of audio-visual aids. Similar to the grammar translation, tries to make the process of learning the language as a habit and expect students to respond in a very automatic way. Now, I have created an activity related to this method, and for this activity, I want my students to be able to recite short sentences by memory with a few or zero mistakes with the use of some flashcards. This activity consists on the teacher showing a flashcard that contains a picture of an action verb, like for example, someone that's running, and the teacher will say and repeat the sentence, I am running, I am running. And she will ask students to repeat after her. Then she will do the same, but with a different action verb, for example, eating. And she will say and repeat, I am eating, I am eating. And she will do the same with different flashcards. Now, after that, the teacher will show the flashcard, but this time she will not say the complete sentence, but just the action verb. For example, she shows someone that is dancing, and she will say dancing. And so it is expected for students to recite the sentence that they have been practicing. I am dancing. So the only materials that we need for this activity are the flashcard representing the action verbs. Now, as for the second method, we have the task-based approach. Now, a lesson with the task-based approach tries to involve students in the completion of a central real-world task. Now, this real-world task try to use a lot of communication with the target language. Basically, this method helps us to use the target language in context and also help us to know how the learner will apply his and her his or her communicative skills to complete a meaningful task. Now, as for the activity that I created for this task-based approach, I want my students to be able to identify at least 6 descriptive adjectives based on some pictures. Now, this activity consists on making some groups, and as a central task, my students have to create a list in their notebooks of 6 or more descriptive adjectives they are seeing in a picture that I have provided to them. Now, after they have done this list, they should report it orally in front of the whole class. So as for materials, the only thing that we need are the pictures that we are going to provide to the students. Now, as for the third method, we have the total physical response. Now, this method tries to create a link between the speech and physical action. Its basis come from trying to make the teacher play the role of a parent by trying to make the student learn the language through commands and reacts to them physically before producing a verbal response. Now, for the activity based on this method, I want my students to be able to identify at least 8 preposition of places based on some pictures. Now, this activity consists on asking the students to stand up and stay at the center of the classroom. Of course, there shouldn't be any chairs so that the students have some space. Then the teacher will show a picture, for example, of a book under the table, and she will say, the book is under the table. If the statement is true, then the student should walk or jump to the right side of the classroom. But if the statement is false, then the student should walk or jump to the left side of the classroom. Now, if the statement is true, then the teacher can ask students to repeat the sentence after her. And if the statement is false, then the teacher can ask the students which is the right preposition for that sentence. And the teacher can repeat the same process with different pictures representing the preposition of places. And of course, the only materials that we need are the pictures representing this preposition of places. So these were the methods for today. Thank you so much for your attention.